Hello everybody. How to get the negative voice out of your head? You don't have to raise your hand for this question. Just think about it. How many of you have a negative voice in your head that stops you from doing what you really want to do? I have a negative voice in my head. A lot of you probably know I have a goal of speaking in front of large audiences and have thousands of people watch my videos. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know I say that a lot. And every time I say it, I truly believe that I can do it. What you may not know is soon after that, doubts start to creep in, and I wonder if I can really do it. The negative voice takes over and says, I don't know if you can do this. There are other speakers better than you that are not speaking in front of large audiences. What makes you think that you can do it? Maybe you don't have the natural talent for it. Maybe you should quit and do something else that you would be better suited for. That's what my negative voice sounds like. It sounds weak, but it's actually really strong. It's a beast. It's working out in the gym of my mind 5 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's doing bench presses and power cleans and deadlifts. It has pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Reg Park up on the wall, past bodybuilders. It has inspirational quotes. That thing is strong. Can I defeat that negative voice with my positive voice and just say, I can do it? No, my negative voice would knock out my positive voice in 19 seconds flat. So I don't try to fight my negative voice one-on-one. What I do is what we all do in table topics when we don't like the question. I do the Artful Dodge. I go around my negative voice, and instead of going right through it, what I do is I concentrate on what I know I can do. And what I know I can do is I can get a little better each time. I know I can do this because I have done it before in the past. I know it works. So no matter what my negative voice says, I already know that I can do that. And you might be thinking, well, a little better. Big deal. You need to get a lot better if you want to speak in front of large audiences. That's true. But think about this. If I was only to get 1% better each speech, and I did 200 speeches a year, this is a math problem, everybody. At the end of the year, I would be 200% better. And at the end of the second year, I would be 400% better. So even though I started off pretty low, you can go to my YouTube channel, Jason Silverstein, if you want to see where I started from, or you just want to laugh. So even from that point, 400% better, I'm pretty good. Maybe even good enough to speak in front of large audiences. And that's all I do, just get a little bit better. And that's step number 1 in my 3-step process to defeat my negative voice. Step number 2. My negative voice is pretty strong. And it oftentimes, or pretty smart also, and it oftentimes prevents me from practicing because it knows if I don't practice, I can't reach my goal. What I do for that is I just tell my negative voice, I am going to just practice one time. And since all my speeches are 5 to 7 minutes, practicing one time 5 to 7 minutes is no big deal. I have 5 to 7 minutes every day. That's what I do. I just practice 5 to 7 minutes. And what happens though is when I'm practicing, parts of my speech call for me to get excited. And I start getting excited while I'm doing the speech. So when I'm done practicing once, instead of just doing once, I do it over and over again. And before I know it, I've practiced it 4 times. And even though I was only intending to practice once, I practiced 4 times because I got into it. But the only way I was able to get into it was tell myself I'm just going to practice once. So that's step number 2, is to trick my mind into practicing. Step number 3 is not something that's always available to me. And because that requires changing my thinking, and that's sometimes difficult to do. But what I would do for step number 3 is to think about my big why. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this, this is my contribution to society. It goes back to early 2018. I remember I was at a point in my life where I felt like I had nothing to lose. And what got me out of that was the thought that I would be up there, up on stage, speaking in front of thousands of people and inspiring them by telling them my story of where I started to where I ended up. So other people could see that if I was able to do it, they could do it. That's my big why. Just to recap, the way I defeat my negative voice is I just concentrate on getting a little better each time, step number 1. Step number 2 is just tell myself I'm only going to practice a little bit and actually end up practicing more. And step number 3 is to discover, just go back to my big why. If you follow these 3 steps, I hope they will help you to defeat the negative voice in your head. Thank you.